Been studying and seeing the research that the dollar is just tanking.
If you don't do something, you're about to be flushing money down the toilet.
Y'all got more than 6 months to a year sitting in your savings. I think it's because y'all scared. My dollar is dropping, but the cost of living is rising.
Don't get stuck with no sacred cow. Don't get stuck like I did it this way and I want my kids to do it. That's actually the worst thing that you can do. I don't know if in 10 years, being a doctor is just as attractive as it is today. It's about what you do moving forward.
Absolutely.
There are 5 things that anybody can do to protect the value of their money.
Okay.
All right? There's invest in precious metals.
Yes, sir.
You can look at international stocks.
Yes, sir.
You can look at international mutual funds.
Okay.
You can look at multinational companies, and I'm gonna explain what all these things are.
Yes,
And then the 5th thing that people can do is look at.
Family, I just want to pause for a quick second. And I want to personally say thank you. Seriously, and I mean this. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, and thank you for being a part of this journey. You know, recently we crossed over 1 million subscribers, and that's not just a number to me. You know, when I really think about that, that's 1 million lives, that's 1 million families, that's 1 million stories, and millions, I mean it's millions of people who are choosing to break free from debt and build real wealth for their children, for their families, for their communities. If you've gotten even a little bit of value from this channel, if you've learned something, felt encouraged, or just felt seen, one of the greatest things you can do is hit that subscribe button. It's not just for me and my team, but it's also for you. You see, because when you subscribe, you're joining a community of millions who are getting out of the red and into the black and building a legacy that lasts. So if you're ready to keep growing, to keep learning, and to keep winning with your money, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and join this amazing family. I'm grateful for you. I want to say that one more time. I am grateful for you. And honestly, I can't wait to see what we build together in our community. All right, today's show is gonna be special. I worked hard on this one, so let's get to it.
Yo, Courtney, we gotta have a serious talk today, bro. I've been studying and seeing the research that the dollar is just tanking. It's starting to go down. And when I saw this, I was gonna do a video. I said, no. I'm gonna wait to talk with Courtney because I think we need, one, get your thoughts on it. 2, and we need to identify what can we be investing in that can help us with the dollar tanking. I'm curious from your research, are you seeing the same stuff or am I seeing it wrong?
Nah, you're exactly right, man. Like the value of the dollar is dropping.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen this type of decline in the dollar in about 4 years.
Yeah.
All right. The dollar was really, really strong compared to all other currencies. You know, things were going well. And then it's just like overnight, you know, really, the dollar peaked at about in 2024. And ever since we hit that peak, it's just been dropping. And so it's creating panic, rightfully so. Right? Because it's not just the dollar dropping that we're dealing with, right? We have geopolitical things that are going on, issues with inflation, government policy, you know, new Fed chairman. All of these things are happening at the same time. They all actually contribute to the dollar dropping. But it's like, yo, like we got to do something.
Yeah. No, we got to do something. One of my mentors told me, he said, focus on the things that you can focus on, right? But don't focus on the things that you just can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now, I think some people are panicking because it's like, wait, my dollar is dropping, but the cost of living is rising. And I had one young lady reach out to me and she said, Anthony, I am fearful about retiring. She is like close to 62 and she has 3 more years before she can retire. But she's like, but if the dollar is dropping, what do I do and how do I invest? And so I really want to get your thoughts on this. How do we invest into things, or are there any safe places we can invest that will cover us because of the dollar dropping?
Absolutely. And look, I think it makes a lot of sense that we talk about like who this is for.
There you go.
Right?
Yes, sir.
That woman that you talk about that's getting ready to retire
Mm-hmm.
in 3 years, this matters a lot to her.
Yes.
Okay? If you're 25 and you starting your career, it's good to be aware and to make adjustments, but you don't have to be panicking because the fact of the matter is you have time in the market and this is cyclical.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily have to be a permanent problem, but whenever you can protect your dollar, it does allow your money to do better once the market comes back. So people got to figure out where they lie on that spectrum. This conversation, this isn't a permanent conversation, right? So I want to say that for our audience because listen, I told you now we got people that's watching us do this episode. They buying everything that we mentioned.
Facts.
And I appreciate that.
Facts.
And I think most of these conversations that we've had, that's fine. People had a really good 2025 based off of this conversation.
Absolutely.
All right.
Man, I was in Dallas, not to cut you off, I was in Dallas speaking at a church, and man, 5 people came up to me and said, yo, I'm a part of Courtney's group. Like, oh, good looking. And so, y'all, I love that. Courtney just crossed over 50,000 subscribers. But I think the best thing that you all could do is to get the information and the strategy. And every single week, Courtney is dropping videos. He just told me he's about to go up on videos, but then every single week he's doing free webinars. He has his own group, man. And so I want to encourage you all. We're going to drop all his information inside of the show notes. He's also tagged on his video as well. So go subscribe, buy all of his stuff. And when I say buy, get all of his information because I love hearing that. You know, I love hearing that you all are rocking out with Courtney. All right, let's get to it. So before we get to the person who is a little scared, I want to go back to that 25, 30-year-old. A 25, 30-year-old, young, they got time in the market. Should they be adjusting anything in their portfolio right now or just staying true to what they're already doing?
Here's the thing. I think it's good to have the information. So when the dollar is tanking, there are 5 things that anybody can do to protect the value of their money.
Okay.
All right. This invest in precious metals.
Yes, sir.
You can look at international stocks.
Yes, sir.
You can look at international mutual funds.
Okay.
You can look at multinational companies. And I'm gonna explain what all these things are.
Yes, sir.
And then the 5th thing that people could do is look at Bitcoin.
Ooh.
You don't have to do all 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got to figure out like who you are, what you're comfortable with, what your risk is. Again, everybody doesn't have to do all of these things and it doesn't have to be permanent. But any one or any combination of the 5 will protect you when the dollar is dropping.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about number 1. I like number 1. Bitcoin's going to be a fun conversation because I got a little bit of Bitcoin. Just a little, not a lot, just a little. But number 1, what is that first one again?
So number 1 is buying precious metals, specifically gold and silver.
Yes, sir.
All right. So whenever the dollar drops, gold goes up in value. So for about the last year and a half, gold has been skyrocketing.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you can buy gold a number of different ways. I think the way that makes the most sense for our audience is buying like a gold ETF. So how the ETF works, it works like a stock, right? So the value is going to move and you're basically buying paper gold, electronic gold, right? So as the price fluctuates, you get to participate in that appreciation. So what you're doing is you're moving money from the dollar into gold.
Yes, sir.
So as the price of the dollar goes down, because now you've invested in gold, the value of your money is going up.
Yes, sir.
The good thing about gold is that it's not only good when the dollar is dropping, but also during like recessionary periods where the stock market is declining, gold tends to kind of stay stable. So it provides your money with a bit of a seatbelt.
Yeah. No, I like that. I honestly just started looking into gold. I think I told you this last month. Me and you was talking about this, and I just bought a piece of, not a piece of gold, but I just opened up an IRA with gold. And I was actually upset, bro, with myself. Because I was like, wait. If I would have bought this gold last year, if I just would have put $10,000 into it, I would have had about in between far north of $50,000 plus. But then silver's
going crazy.
What happens to your family if something happened to you?
I'm gonna ask that again. What happens to your family when something happens to you? You see, life insurance feels scary, it feels complicated, and even expensive. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be anymore. Most of us are walking around with no life insurance policy, but we have a name brand item. Thinking, I'm young, I'm healthy, I got time. Family, I want to be honest with you, I'm so sorry. That's not faith, that is pure foolishness. Here's what I love about my friends over at Ethos. They've made getting term life insurance 100% simple. No medical exams, no waiting weeks for approval. You can get a quote online in literally 10 minutes like myself and get approved the exact same day. We're talking coverage from $100,000 up to $2 million with absolutely no blood work for way less than what you actually think. Term life insurance is pure protection at a fraction of the cost of whole life insurance. Look, a healthy 30-year-old can get a $500,000 policy for about $25 a month. That's less than your Netflix and Spotify combined. Listen, your family deserves to be protected. Don't leave them struggling to pay bills and funeral costs because you kept putting this off while you're in heaven smiling. Your family's down here stressed because of your poor decisions. Listen, stop playing games with your family's future. Get your free quote today in 10 minutes by going to anthonyoneal.com/ethos. Again, go to anthonyoneal.com/ethos. And I promise you, you will feel way better and sleep better at night. All right, let's get back to today's show.
So I actually like, and if somebody's online is gonna be like a research snob about this, I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel, okay? This is my feeling about it. I don't care about the research, but for me, I actually like silver a little bit more than gold.
Okay.
All right, and that sounds like, what? Like, but I'm not talking about the wear on my neck or anything like, but as an investment. But let me tell you why. So the same way that dollar drop, silver goes up, right? Or gold goes up. Same thing happens with silver. But here's the advantage that silver has over gold. Like silver actually has like commercial use.
Yes.
So it's inside of your cell phone, it's inside of your electric vehicle, it's inside of our satellites. So silver is skyrocketing partially because of the drop of the dollar, but also because of all of the emerging technologies right now. And so you're getting like a double benefit from silver. The other good thing is, like, since our last conversation, you know, gold and silver have been going crazy, but gold and I haven't checked now. So I don't know what the charts look like.
Yeah, I got you.
But the value of gold and silver had been dropping a little bit.
Okay.
So this could be a good time, but you know, now obviously we're having a conversation about the dollar tanking, and a lot of, you know, news outlets are as well. So it could have gone back up, you know, since then. But if the value of gold and silver drop, you definitely want to be investing. But silver has an investment function that exceeds gold because people or companies are also buying it for manufacturing of electronics.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this question. I think people are going to hear this, and we know this. Anything that we mention on my show, your show, when we do a show together, people move. And I want to ask this before we get into number two. We are not telling them to take money out of the stock market and to go buy these things. Like, I'm not saying pull from your 401k and go buy gold from your 401k. That's going to hurt you even more. Would you agree or disagree?
For the most part, I would agree. There may be industries, there may be companies where it could make sense to take those profits and then reinvest for the additional security. I think for the majority of our audience, it's about what you do moving forward.
Absolutely.
Also, and let me say this, it's not just selling in the stock market or taking new money. It's also people who have lots of money in a savings account.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people that listen to us, that subscribe, man, and they're trying to do better. They're investing more, but they're sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars in a savings account. And let me say this, Like we have been really emphasizing the importance of investing in the stock market so your money can grow, so it's not lazy money.
Right.
But let me tell you, with the dollar declining in value, see, this is bigger than inflation, because like inflation, your money's gonna buy less every single year.
Every single year.
This is expediting the problem.
Yeah.
So you have to get that money out of your savings account and put it into something safer.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about a portfolio, maybe we'll get into percentages in a little bit. But you could be talking about like at least maybe 10% of money that you have in a savings account that may need to go into precious metals. And some of that, we want to talk about these other categories as well.
Let's do it.
But you got to look at the percentages of each. But I'm telling, like, if some of the money's invested,
Yeah.
you can be strategic about what you sell and move over.
Yes.
Then you can also think about what makes sense in terms of how you invest moving forward.
Yeah.
But if you have the people who have lots of money sitting in savings accounts,
Yes.
this is a urgent conversation for you.
Urgent.
Because if you don't do something, you're about to be flushing money down the toilet.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. I mean, and that's why I wanted to ask that question, because I think a lot of you, well, I think I know, a lot of you all have a lot of money. Y'all got more than 6 months to a year sitting in your savings. And I think it's because y'all scared. Y'all just scared. And you can see the money. But remember, wealth building is all about strategy. It is always about, okay, what am I doing? What is my next step to get us there? And so we're having this conversation to add this to your strategy. So number 1 is precious metals. What's number 2, bro?
So number 2, I'm gonna do number 2 and 3 together.
Perfect. Okay.
2 and 3 are either international stocks or international ETFs.
Yes.
Okay. So foreign companies are gonna do better when a dollar is lower.
Facts.
All right, because the exchange rate is gonna be better. So they're gonna have like a double benefit in a sense. So if you take your money and you invest it into a foreign company that is doing well, I'll give you a couple examples, and y'all have heard that. They've heard some of these before.
Yeah.
ASML. We talked about ASML on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
About what, 3 shows ago?
About 3 shows ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ASML manufactures the machines that makes the chip.
Okay.
All right. Taiwan Semiconductor makes the chips.
Okay.
All right. Taiwan Semiconductor, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Machine Company, I think is what it stands for. The ticker is TSM.
Okay.
It is Taiwan, right? Another individual stock. I always feel like we go really heavy tech a lot of the time, so I added this one just to diversify the conversation a little bit. But AstraZeneca.
I never heard of that.
It's a pharmaceutical company. And AstraZeneca is based out of, it's a European country. I can't think of exactly which one it is, but AstraZeneca is a pharmaceutical company most known for their oncology drugs.
Yeah.
They are getting into like the weight loss drug category, where we've seen companies like Eli Lilly really thrive.
Yep.
But those are 3 individual stocks.
Wow.
That are international. Okay, so you're taking your US dollar, you're taking it out of the dollar and putting it into something internationally where it's a more emerging market and your money can grow better.
Yes, sir.
But of course, we know like, hey, everybody's not buying individual stocks. Right? So you can invest in international ETFs. I am a bit of a international ETF snob. A little bit. I am not a huge fan of a lot of them.
Right.
Especially some of the ones that people have in their retirement accounts. The reason being is sometimes those international ETFs can have regions in them that aren't really growing a lot. Like you think about like Europe isn't growing, okay? Even like Japan, right? Japan is an amazing country, amazing technology, but from a growth perspective, it ain't growing. Let me tell you who is growing.
Who grown right now? Who grown?
India, Brazil, Taiwan,
okay,
South America,
for sure,
China.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you're investing in international ETFs, you want to make sure that your ETF has a pretty heavy weight
Yeah.
of companies that are in one of those countries that I just mentioned.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you one.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you two ETFs, but one that's gonna be focused in those regions: India, Brazil, South America, China, Taiwan. It is VWO.
VWO.
It is the Vanguard Emerging Markets ETF.
Okay.
So when you're looking to put your money in international companies when the dollar is tanking, you want to be looking at emerging markets.
Yes, sir.
That's one that's focused on those emerging markets.
Okay.
All right. The second international ETF, this one is specifically focused on Taiwan. All right. Obviously, Taiwan Semiconductor is a huge player in this ETF. It's a huge reason for why some of these emerging markets ETFs are doing well.
Okay.
But there's some other really, really good companies that are in EWT. Okay. EWT is an ETF of Taiwan companies. Wow. All right. Some of them China-based, Taiwan. Yes. A couple other ones that you're not going to know the companies, but you know what they do.
Okay.
All right. So one of them is called Foxconn. Foxconn is one of the largest manufacturers in the world. They make the iPhone.
They make the iPhone.
They make the iPhone. They make the Kindle.
Oh.
Okay. They make your PlayStation.
Oh.
This is in that ETF.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are a lot of, we're using these products.
And we don't even know.
Won't even know. So there's some other really, really good companies that are in there. So from an international ETF perspective, I like VWO, the Vanguard Emerging Markets, and I like EWT.
Check this out, family. Did you know that nearly 4 in 10 Americans still have zero money invested in the stock market? That's a gap where wealth is built or missed. If you're just saving, you're falling behind because the markets average close to about a 10% a year for a century, while your savings account is barely keeping up with inflation. I want to make this plain. If you wait just 5 years to start investing, you could lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth. That's not hype, that's real math. The wealthiest 10% of Americans now own over 90% of all stocks because they started and they stayed consistent. But here's the thing, you don't need to be rich to honestly get inside of the investing game. With platforms like SoFi Invest, Public, and Moomoo, you can open an account today, start with as little as $1, literally, and buy fractional shares of the same assets that have built generational wealth for millions. No commissions, 100% no excuses on your end. Listen, I need you to hear me clearly. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Go to anthonyoneal.com/invest right now to compare the top investing platforms and open your first investing account today. Your future self and your children's children will thank you for taking action right now. We have to start building wealth, not just watching others get rich. Do not let another year go by. As a matter of fact, don't let another day go by. Take the first step, family. Visit anthonyoneal.com/invest. Let's get to work. Let's start investing ASAP. Let's get back to the show.
Now, let me ask you this question. I mean, I'm just curious. What if someone's saying, okay, I only can put money into one of those? Which one are you going with?
I would
VWO.
go VWO.
I was thinking
It's going to give you
Broad.
a broader impact. Also, Taiwan is amazing in terms of the growth, but they do have a significant political risk in terms of what's happening with China. And so if there are any if there's a major conflict, if China decides to what may be perceived as an overstep to somebody that's in Taiwan, it could really impact the stock. So that's the challenge with that one.
Gotcha.
Has done really, really well the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No. I've been doing a lot of studying, especially like over in South America, Africa, that area too.
Africa, there are some ETFs that I believe that when they start focusing more on Africa, they're going to do really, really well.
For sure. I've been studying them too, only because of my situation in Ghana. I've been studying that, so I like that. All right, so we got number 1, number 2, number 3. These are solid. So we got precious metals, y'all. We have the single stocks and the ETFs. And I want to say this up front and very clearly. We're not saying get all 5 of these right now. What we're saying is as we talk about them, discuss them, do some more research, and pick which one is good for you. If you only can do one, if you could do all 5, great. Because we about to get number 4 and about to get to Bitcoin, the last one. But I really want y'all to make sure that you're just getting the information and doing extended research for yourself, right? And then make the decision that's best for you and your family.
Yes.
Like you have to do that. Y'all email me, Anthony, I did this and da 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 da. Wait. We're just giving you information. We're trying to expose you. Do the research and see what fits best with you and what do you align with. You know, and I think that's very, very important. All right, what's number 4, bro?
So number 4 is the one that I think the majority of our audience will feel the most comfortable with.
Okay.
I don't necessarily feel it's the best strategy, but it's going to make more sense because there's familiarity, and that's investing in multinational US companies. These are US companies based in the US, but they do business all across the world.
Got it.
And people have heard of these brands before, right? Coke, Caterpillar, McDonald's, all right? These are companies that operate in other countries. Coke, about somewhere between 65 to 70% of Coke's revenue comes from other countries.
For real?
65 to 70%. So if the US dollar is struggling, owning Coke naturally you have some diversification internationally in terms of the stock and the revenue.
You know what's so funny is, side joke on Coke. You ever had a Coke like in another country?
It's better.
It is. And it's healthier.
Healthier.
Huh.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this tastes a little different, but it's healthier. They don't have as much sugar in their Cokes outside of the US. Actually, they don't have a lot of sugar in a lot of food and drinks outside the US, to be honest.
And then what they do use is like natural products. So if it is sugar, it's like real sugar and not all of these other like chemical things.
So Coke, and correct me if I'm wrong, is either Pepsi owned Coke or Coke owned Pepsi.
2 different companies.
2 different companies. So Coke, is it only a drink company? I haven't done research on Coke, honestly.
Yeah, no, Coke owns a lot of stuff beyond drinks, right? Which is another advantage. But of the US-based companies, Coke probably has the most diversified revenue internationally of anybody.
That is crazy,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very solid stock.
What about Apple? Because
Apple's
international.
Apple is international, and it is another multinational company who has placed a lot of emphasis on growing in other markets.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we had the conversation, but you know, like I'm waiting on Apple to like show me something, man.
What you waiting on, bro?
I see where Google is going in terms of the future.
Yeah.
I see where Tesla is going for the future. I can see what, Microsoft. I don't know in 10 years
where Apple,
what is it that Apple is doing. They made an announcement last week, and I talked about this in my community because I always say this, but they're the agentic AI. So they have a partnership now where they're working to basically expand Siri and get to the point to where you could tell Siri, hey Siri, pay my electric bill. So it would basically talk to multiple apps at the same time and complete a task, and nothing is really doing that right now.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't talk a lot about Apple because
they haven't really said much.
And the stock is still expensive.
It sure is.
So one of the ways that you compare the value of a stock price is by looking at their price to earnings ratio. So it's the price that investors are willing to pay for $1 of earnings. Okay. Their price to earnings ratio is still near the top in the industry. And so for me, if I'm paying a lot of money in essence for future earnings, I want to have an idea of what the future looks like.
Right.
And I don't really see it yet.
Yeah.
And they just might be keeping it quiet. It's Apple, right? This is maybe the most innovative company of our time up until maybe
sure.
now,
Right.
right? So they're super smart people there, and they may have some things going, but that's why I didn't include them. But they are a multinational company. One that I really, really like that I think is interesting is Caterpillar.
Yep.
So
Yep.
not real sexy, right? We're talking about manufacturing and infrastructure, but let me tell you this about Caterpillar. Something very interesting happens when the US dollar drops. When the US dollar drops, that means that their equipment, their machines become cheaper for companies in other countries. So, quick economics lesson, but when prices drop, demand increases.
Yep. Yep.
So more people in other countries start to buy their products.
Yeah.
Here's the other part.
Yeah.
When the US dollar drops, other countries invest more in infrastructure and building new things. It's like this inverse thing that's happening. It's like US is down, but internationally they go up. They investing.
Yeah.
Well, guess who benefits when other companies start building buildings and bridges and all of these? Caterpillar.
Yes, sir.
Caterpillar benefits.
Yes.
So they benefit from the increase in sales.
Right.
They benefit from also the exchange rate. So and I be trying not to I don't want to overcomplicate these things, but the thing about these multinational companies that makes them so attractive in this situation is that they get a double benefit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the double benefit is the sales internationally, but then when that exchange rate hits, they make more money. So if, let's say, €1 buys $1.50, okay, that means that the euro is stronger.
Yep.
Okay, €1 to $1.50
Yep.
USD, American dollars.
Yeah.
So when a company like Procter and Gamble or a company like Caterpillar Financial, when they make 100 million euros,
Yep.
they then convert that to US dollars. So then it's like they get an extra bonus
For sure.
on the money that they made.
For sure.
So when we looking at like things to do strategically, like you gotta like that's a good deal. They're not selling no more product. It's like they getting a bonus on top of what they did.
Hey man, strategy to wealth building, brother. That's a beautiful strategy right there. I like
So
that.
in that category, we said Coke, Caterpillar Financial, McDonald's is one, also Procter and Gamble.
Procter and Gamble.
The good thing about all four of these really is even in not just thinking about a decline in dollar, but also like a decline in stock market going into a recession, these are all stocks that give your portfolio a bit of leveling out. So they're not so volatile.
Yes, sir.
So you can have these in your portfolio in multiple economic climates. They're gonna grow when the market is strong. When the market is down, they're not gonna drop as much. When the dollar is weak, they're gonna provide some stability.
All day long. I see why you said that everyone would like that one, will feel more comfortable. Out of all 5 of these, which one do you think has the best possible return on investment? I don't know if it's that one, but which one would you say?
The best possible return
over a longer period of time, so not quickly.
So I actually the best return is gonna be number 5, which is Bitcoin.
I was gonna say that.
Bitcoin is going to have the largest potential return in the long term, and in some instances, it's probably the best investment of the 5 when the dollar is tanking. The crazy opportunity right now is that Bitcoin is down really, really bad. So now you can buy it cheap.
Yeah.
So when you compare it to like what's happening with gold and silver, well, gold and silver are expensive right now.
Right.
But Bitcoin is cheap. You get the diversity out of the US dollar and you get a larger long-term return.
Bro.
So Bitcoin is probably the option that makes the most sense. But I also understand, like we're talking to the everyday investor.
Yes, sir.
And the everyday investor doesn't have the level of comfort to put their money into an investment like Bitcoin that has literally been all over the place
All
in
over.
the last year.
All over.
And so if you're like, hey, I want to make this investment for security, but Bitcoin has been $123, $123,000, it has been $69,000,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so you become like, Courtney, this ain't you said something about a seatbelt. This seems like I'm on a roller coaster without the seatbelt. You know, so that's the issue with Bitcoin.
Let me ask you this question, which I know this answer, but I think you can explain it better. Let's say someone wanted to put $500 into Bitcoin. What's the best way to go about that right now?
I would do it in the ETF.
Yeah.
IBIT.
Okay.
IBIT is the Bitcoin ETF.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like what we talk about with gold. It's like you can buy a gold bar.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned you can buy a Costco, right?
Right.
But the problem with having the gold bar is, well, you have it. Now, what if you need to sell it? What if you need to spend some of it? You don't want to be in the line nowhere with a chisel trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the way you want to go about it. So it has harder functionality. And people be like, yeah, but if the world goes to crap and you need, let me tell you something. If the world goes down that bad,
the last thing I'm worried about.
The last thing you're going to be worried about is, man, like, I'm glad I sure had gold bars. Like, that's going to be the last thing you care about.
Yo.
So the same way where it may make sense to do like a gold ETF, it's the same way with Bitcoin. Because even when you buy Bitcoin, when you actually buy it, you know, there's a process to actually get the actual Bitcoin. And I won't get into all of that. But there are additional steps. So for the everyday investor, just investing in the Bitcoin ETF will give you the movement. But I do think people should research it because one of the things that could be happening, you know, we don't do a whole lot of talk about, I say that the tinfoil conversations, we don't do a whole lot of that. But, you know, something that could happen is we move to a new world currency, right? Yeah. The dollar has been the basis of that for a long time. Yeah. We're seeing China make some crazy partnerships, even with Canada, just recently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, they have those partnerships in Africa, all over the country. And so there is a significant shift from the US dollar to something else. Now, whether you think that's going to be Chinese currency, I don't know, but Bitcoin levels that for everybody. And there is, I was going to say a lot of institutional money in Bitcoin, which basically means that the powers that run the world are invested in Bitcoin, but a lot is an understatement. I mean, countries, hedge funds, banks, they all own it. So the price moves a lot, but there's more trust in Bitcoin now than there ever has been before.
Come on, man. Nah, this is some good information. I'm curious. You know, you're in the world, you're working every single day, got a family. Are you concerned about where we are within the economy today? With what you're saying, the dollar going down, the fluctuating in the economy. How are you as a father, as a husband, as a coach and mentor in the world? How are you feeling about where we are today?
I'm concerned because the system that I learned about, that I grew up in, it is changing.
Yes.
And even in terms of, you talk about like as a father, and I look at my kids and what we are teaching them to become, I now have to think about, how do I teach you to do that in a time where the way we used to do it is going to look completely different?
Yes, sir.
Even the jobs, like being a doctor, is going to look different.
It's not even the same as it was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. And then when you look at what artificial intelligence and the companies that are involved in disease prevention and cure, and like all of the things, and what quantum computing does to that, I don't even know if and I'm going to say that I ain't trying to be like I ain't trying to be like dramatic.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if in 10 years being a doctor is just as attractive as it is today. You know, and so my daughter, she wants to be a OBGYN, and she want to be on TV. She's trying to figure out which one to balance. But even with being on TV, it's like, I mean, you could be a news anchor, you could start your own YouTube and be bigger than anybody that's on TV.
We see that right now with Don Lemon. I know some of y'all don't like him, but I love him. But we see that with Don Lemon.
Don is way more popular now than he
was on CNN. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's, as a parent, how are you and your wife having that conversation with y'all's kids and preparing them for the shift that it's not a matter of if, but it's coming, bro. Like it's definitely happening. And that's something that I get a lot of questions on. Like, Anthony, the world is changing. How do I have the conversation? One, with my spouse, and then one, how do we set up our kids to have this conversation with them down in the future? I don't know if that's a whole nother show, bro, that we should have. Maybe we need to bring on your wife one day. We gotta do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. But you know that one of the things that comes to my mind when you ask that question is actually the same thing we need to do as investors. It's advice for your kids, but it's for you as well.
Yeah.
And it's not the tactical thing or the process that you have to be focused on.
Yeah.
It's about the work that you do within, work that you do in self. You have to be open to change. You have to be constantly welcoming new information. See, the learning never stops. I think that in a way in America, where we struggle academically is that we put people in this idea that you go to, K through 12, maybe you go to college, and whenever you finish, you're done.
I wish that was the case, but that ain't the case.
And that worked for a while, right? That worked for some generations, but that doesn't work anymore.
Not long.
So what I tell my daughter, what I tell all of our kids is you have to be obsessed with the things that you're interested in. You can never be comfortable. You have to always practice to get better and to learn more.
Yes.
I'm concerned economically about the status of our country, but we're also having conversations about how we move. You and I have conversations about the opportunities that exist in Ghana.
Yeah.
We're talking about, where do we get dual citizenship? We talk about where we invest our money internationally. One of the things that I'm really big on here, I know some of our real estate friends not gonna like this, but I'm like really big on becoming more liquid. Now, when you got tax considerations,
Sure.
or you're a developer and you got a system that's working I'm not talking to you.
For sure.
All right, I'm talking to the people who are looking for places to invest their money to build wealth.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to have my money in the stock market and cryptocurrency versus, and we own a lot of real estate.
Y'all do.
And so I am trying to figure out how to become more liquid so that I could put more money into things that are gonna move fast.
Yeah.
So that's I am concerned, but what we all have to do is we got to have the foresight to see what's happening and position yourself to benefit. Don't get stuck with no sacred cow. Don't get stuck like I did it this way and I want my kids to do it. That's actually the worst thing that you can do.
Come on, man.
People, when I had this conversation about, if I'm a person that's in the market to buy a home and I'm considering buying a home versus taking those funds and investing into the stock market, people always DM me. They comment on my stuff and they're like, oh, I bought my house, and I had $500,000 in equity. Well, yeah, you bought your house 20 years ago.
Facts.
Okay,
Facts.
You bought your house 10 years ago. Even if you bought it in 2020, like you've done really, really well.
Facts.
But now prices are literally at the peak to where people can't afford it anymore and incomes are not going up.
They're not.
So somebody would make the argument like, oh, well, it's going up. That means that's a good thing. Well, it's gone up to the point now where people don't have the money to buy it. So it actually has to come down.
Yes.
And so you can't look at what you did before and think that that's the way that it has to be done forever, or the benefit is going to be the same, because it's not.
Facts.
So people got to be open to change. You have to be. My daughter used to go to a Montessori school when we were in Nashville. And one of the things they used to always teach was being a lifetime learner. You have to be a lifetime learner. So if you do that, it's okay to be concerned, but you'll be in a position to learn more, to figure out how to navigate this space that we're in.
Well, listen, y'all, I think that's where we can end it. Because I think if you're going to be a life-term learner, you got to get around people who are teaching the right stuff and who would stretch your mind. And when you leave them, you go onto your own personal time and you do more research. And this is why I highly suggest that you all subscribe to Courtney's YouTube channel, because he's teaching. And y'all could just tell, look at him. You know, he didn't look at his phone for these notes. The man is just always learning himself, and he is always teaching it. And so hit that subscribe button on his YouTube channel. Come check out his webinar. He's doing one this week, right?
Thursdays.
On Thursday. And so, man, we would love for you all to get that information, because I think it's just, the world is changing. And wealth, I think right now, while the world is changing, I would definitely say this. I believe the greatest wealth transfer is about to happen too. But you have to be positioned and have the right knowledge and information to be a part of that. And I think AI and tech right now is a huge part of this wealth transfer. But if you're not positioned to buy the stocks, if you're not positioned to invest into the companies, if you're not positioned to be a dual citizen somewhere else, you're going to miss out on some amazing opportunities. So as always, keep it locked here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my brother's channel. We're going to link it inside the show notes. We'll also link to his workshop that's happening this Thursday. And so make sure y'all check it out. As always, Courtney, it's a pleasure, man. What are we going to talk about next time? I don't know, but you got any ideas?
Talk about, man. What we,
We got it. Hey, you know what? We're going to ask y'all, what should we talk about in the next show? Because, I mean, we give you all, I mean, every time Courtney comes on, man, I mean, y'all, we hitting hundreds of thousands of views. But we want to make sure that we keep giving you all what you all need to really, really help you all grow. So let us know inside of the comment section what y'all think we should talk about. More than likely, we'll talk about what's going on in the news, so that way we can keep you all educated and abreast of what's going on. But let us know, and we'll make it happen. All right. Love y'all. Peace out.